Good morning. I'm Ian Long Sr., and this is my wife, Julia. I didn't have anything prepared, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Didn't have nothing prepared, I'm just going to wing it. Uh,
It's at the bottom.
uh,
Nice.
uh,
Very hot.
our family started coming to New Creation the spring of 22. Our youngest, Anthony, started preschool in the fall of 21. Say that right?
So I found a new creation during the shutdown. There was a BLM rally that happened out at Centennial, and I saw Miss Kristen, and I was like, "Who is this woman?" Like I know I've seen this woman somewhere in my life. Like, where's my mom's like, "Well, that's Miss Kristen," and I was like, "Well, who the hell is Miss Kristen?" Just so she does the preschool at New Creation, and I was like, "Well, what's New Creation? I've never heard." And so my mom and I had a very long talk because she's been here forever, and I just I thought it was really, really important to have somebody who saw those values in that movement teaching our kids. And so that's why we brought Anthony. And then I got us kicked out of our church in January, and then we came here. I'm not sorry. I am not the slightest bit sorry. I will never apologize for
As far as that story goes, the quick and clean of it is there was for lack of a better term, there was a come to Jesus meeting with certain individuals who didn't have the same values that we believed in or thought processed, and I'm very big on family.
And I believe that Jesus loves everybody, so that got me in trouble. Whatever.
She was perfectly fine. But what happened was with that situation, we were without a church home during probably one of the most strenuous and stressful times
For you, yeah.
in our lives. And so Julia mentioned New Creation. I was like, okay. And she tried several times to get me to go. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a stubborn ox. I was like, I just, after that experience, I kind of left a sour taste in my mouth about things. It's like, we'll just take a little time off and just kind of reevaluate. And then we finally showed up, and everybody was very welcoming. There wasn't this, what I've gotten used to, or what we've gotten used to is like this awkward stares, like everybody's perfectly fine, then you walk in, everybody just kind of look back and like,
Or they're overly kind to you.
and they super placate you, just like, oh, wow, you're amazing.
Let's talk to the black man.
So we came, and Pastor Derek was still pastor here, and just the openness and love and admiration and the appreciation for the differences and diversities of everybody is something that really sticks out to us. I believe that God made each and every one of us exactly who we are, and that nobody has the ideology to determine whether that's good or bad. And so that, plus the feeling of, hey, this is nice. I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder and wondering if somebody's gonna bother me or ask me a bunch of weird questions, has also been really nice. And the fact that growing up in a Southern Baptist religion, children are meant to be seen, not heard. That's how I grew up. We were always made to look nice and be dressed up and then be as quiet as a church mouse while you were there. So the fact that our two boys can run from the back of the church, do a backflip on the pulpit, and go back, and nobody like bats an eye or anything like that.
We're still adjusting.
Still adjusting to that, but we appreciate that because it's something new that we haven't experienced. And as a growing family, as a new family, and joining during those times, there was a lot of strenuous days. There were a lot of stressful days. There was a lot of uncertainty about a lot. I mean, you read history books about pandemics and situations, and you hear how bad they were.
And it got kind of scary at our church for a while too. We were kind of becoming clear that being a minority was probably not as welcome of a thing as it was when we first got there. They were preaching about movements and things, and it got really uncomfortable.
So for example, like how we as a congregation handle COVID protocols and all this other stuff, how smooth and easy and respectful that is to everybody's comfort level. Where we had come from before that, it had gone from being...
Hell will freeze over before we put a mask on our face.
It was God
does not want us for that.
Worship became very politicized. Yeah. So the ideology of the world at that time bled in and mixed very unhealthily in the church, and it was to a point to where we didn't feel safe for our family at that church. Nothing against them. Everybody, that's the beauty about God being the wonderful individual that they are. Got some good ones and some questionable ones, and then got some that's like, okay. So we had some discussions with individuals, and you all know my wife, you know me, we really don't have a problem asking the hard questions.
Or saying things that people don't have answers to.
So we asked those questions, and those questions led to us making the decision to make a home here. And as stressful and strenuous as that was, we don't regret that at all. Yeah. Because we love feeling a part of something, genuinely being a part, and that's what makes us stay here. It's not the fact that we have a wonderful preschool system. You know, it's just a simple fact that we feel a part of this in the most natural, organic way, not as like, oh, well, here's box 1 and box 2. And that is for two individuals that have experienced that multiple times in our lives, to actually be like, hey, we're going to church, and not feel like it's a chore or a placation or an inventory box check. That is a beautiful thing. And as it was mentioned by the previous family, our congregation has no problem having the hard discussions. I think that is a beautiful thing. Every family has good days and bad days, and if you can't be with somebody on a good day, how can you stand with them in the rain? And I think that is a blessed thing. That is something that makes our congregation stand, as far as we're concerned, as one of the upper echelons of congregations, because that's just it's a nice feeling. It's a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So, thank you.